I've watched One Piece 9 times over, and for my 10th rewatch, I thought it'd be fun to make a series going over every single thing I have to say on every single episode for One Piece. I'll be watching in the dub, and there will be spoilers, so fair warning. And before I get into anything, I gotta give a shout out to Overanalyzing Avatar for making his series, because that's the inspiration for me making my own. Now let's get on to the first episode, Romance Dawn. Wealth, fame, power. This is my absolute favorite intro for One Piece, and I just like it because it's there every single time you start an episode. They changed how they say it here and there, but the base idea does not change. This is a story about pirates. This is a story about the world they live in and the adventures that they have, and I love it for that. And for me, and I think for a lot of people, One Piece is something that I discovered because I saw something from Enies Lobby or Dressrosa or one of the other great arcs later on, maybe Marineford. And no matter if you're starting there or you're starting on episode 1, you're going to have the same intro talking about what the show is about. And again, the words will change, but you're going to know exactly what's going on, what the show is about, just from that intro, and it's there every episode, and I love it for that. As for the intros, I think this might be my favorite one overall, because it just talks about what the show is about. And, you know, it's pirates, it's the friends, and it's the One Piece, right? The reason I like this one so much compared to the other ones is probably because later on, at least in the dub, the intros start talking about love. Not like, you know, love being a pirate, just lovey-dovey stuff, and it just doesn't really mix well with the show. I just don't like it. It's also kind of boring. So I like this first one because it stays on topic and it's good. I know everybody mentions how Nami's actually the first major character you get to see in the story, but what is she doing on this ship? And she's got all these fancy clothes on and everything. Like, does she know this place is going to be robbed and she's just, you know, there intentionally to rob the pirates, or is she just kind of there to be there? I mean, she does like expensive stuff, so I guess that would make sense. I just realized this, and I know it's obvious because of their uniforms, but these guys are the Navy soldiers on this ship that are probably meant to protect the ship. Later on, I'll talk more about why I didn't realize this was the case. I just noticed this for the first time. That cloud right there, that's a heart-shaped cloud. I'll point it out when it shows up later, too. You might have missed it, but if you paid attention to the audio there, you can actually hear the cannonballs being shot before you actually see them, which does make sense, because the old pirate era cannons and cannonballs weren't that efficient, so they wouldn't break the sound barrier, although current ones do. I don't know if this is intentional or not. It's a pretty neat detail. Wait a minute. Is that a marble floor? Wait, those are marble pillars. Everything here is that gold? Everything here is so heavy. They even have 2 layers of pillars. How is this ship staying afloat? I didn't realize it for a while, but I think this intro for Alvida is supposed to make her look sexy for a little bit before you get to see the rest of her, and it's like, okay, never mind. Heart-shaped cloud. It's probably because of how easily Alvida took over the ship that I just never realized that there are soldiers on the ship already. Because, I mean, come on, you have marble floors, marble pillars, probably a chandelier, 2 layers of marbles, right? And you don't have any kind of good protection? I mean, this is the great pirate era. You're asking to be robbed. You know what? I'm with the pirates. You deserve to get robbed. You've earned it. 3D animation on the barrel. I spotted that. Yo, look at the captain hitting the Michael Jackson pose there.
We're not gonna take your lives, we swear. But we will take everything else you got on you.
Take that ship too. This thing's full of golden marble. Most of my rewatches are in the dub up until Fishmine Island, and they reuse voice actors a lot. And this guy, that's the voice actor of Chef Zeph, and he pops up quite a bit.
Are you messing with us when you know good and well that we're vicious pirates?
Bellamy! I love Bellamy.
Talking to you!
Also, Luffy's sniffing for food here. I swear I'm not a fraud, but this is the very first time I noticed that Colby gets his head stuck between these 2 double doors here. Probably because in the very next scene there's only 1 door and he's perfectly fine. I guess they went through a hallway or something. I counted it, and Luffy ate 30 apples here in the time span of like a minute. I also noticed the animation area here where you see this one frame happen 3 separate times when he's eating the apples. Also, this is probably a coincidence, but Colby's shirt and glasses have the same color palette that the Marines do. What's with this goblin pose that Luffy has going on here? I don't think he ever sits like this for the rest of the entire series. It's just weird. Isn't it kind of weird if Nami steals from the chest that they just got that she's sort of kind of stealing directly from the passengers of the ships themselves? I guess it's technically pirate loot there, but there's definitely some weird gray area that it falls in. Also, that's a lot of chests. We're told later on that every chest could be like, what, 100 million berry? And I mean, we're going by that standards. She's like, what, 900 million berries here? And that's just the chest we see. She's got like a 5 million berry bounty. This is insane. Why is Kobe's face shaped like one of those weird boots? You know the ones I'm talking about? I've always found it so weird looking that Kobe has like proper sneakers in this pirate world. I mean, Alvida has like the like pilgrim shoes or whatever, and Luffy has the sandals. But for some reason, Colby has these sneakers, and it just stands out so much to me. Even on my first watch, it looked weird. The swords in the door and in the wall disappear between these two frames. It took me a while to notice because I wasn't paying that much attention, but Alvida's pistol does have little hearts drawn on it. It's a neat little detail. I might be looking too deep into this, but if you see the first two hits that Luffy lands here, they're really momentum-based, which is a pretty neat detail because we see in a moment here that his power is to stretch, so it makes sense that he would have gotten used to this kind of fighting. This man has broken his legs. He just jumped from like 20 feet down with no kind of a roll or anything, and he did a terrible attack. You don't yell while doing a sneak attack, come on. Nami's running around with a bag full of gold that probably weighs as much as a hippo, and she's treating it like it's absolutely nothing. She is built. Probably just a coincidence, but the reaction that Luffy has here is pretty similar to the reaction that Shanks has during Marineford.
Touched my heart.
I love this kind of an edit. Listen, I know it's 20 years old, but I can make this kind of an edit right now. In fact, right now, look. Cinema. If I ever get popular enough for it, can somebody please take this meme and edit the zombie to be this guy in the ocean? Okay, talk about overkill. They sent 3 Navy battleships for Captain Alvida, the 5 million berry woman? What's going on here? Also, they fired like immediately. I guess they were warning shots, but they fired immediately on this ship, not knowing if they had hostages or anything. Like, what the hell is going on here? This little guitar riff they have is used very rarely throughout the show, and every single time it's used, it just sounds way out of place. I don't know if I'm just being a hater, but every time I hear it, I just feel like I'm not watching One Piece. Also, instead of the regular to be continued screen, we get this, but that changes pretty quickly. And as for the outro, this one's fine. It's a little lovey-dovey, I don't really like it, but it's the first one, so it's just whatever. I know I didn't show anything from the manga in this episode here, but that's because the first chapter of the manga is about Luffy's backstory, and we don't see any of that in this first episode. But that's everything I have to say. I hope you learned something new or spotted something new about One Piece from this first episode, and either way, I hope you had a good time. I plan on uploading these once every day or two, so have a good one, and I'll see you then. I just finished editing, and it took me literally 4 hours to get this stupid Bellamy gif. Still love him, though.